I think we are ready to start.
Team, whoever is doing the technical. Yeah, great. Okay, everyone. I'm going to start the session with a small introduction and then we'll get right into the questions. Yeah. All right, here we go. Starting. Hello and a very warm welcome, everyone. This is episode 2 of the ET Education LinkedIn Live series, Leading the Change, an exclusive dialogue with education leaders on shaping tomorrow's campus, presented in collaboration with Coursera. I'm Devina Lason, and today we're going to deep dive into fostering academic excellence by advancing for credit online learning. Now, the learning landscape in India is truly rapidly evolving. It's driven by shifting regulations and the widespread adoption of digital learning. Universities are increasingly exploring blended learning solutions to improve various aspects of education, elevating the quality, modernizing curricula, and of course, ensuring that learning is job relevant. They're addressing curriculum gaps and enhancing industry focused education for their students. The NEP also envisions that all higher education institutions become multidisciplinary by 2040. This transition to digital learning, combined with changing regulations, has the potential to accelerate the shift. Institutions can, in fact, now offer up to 40% of their credits through online platforms, making multidisciplinary learning a reality at scale. So, in today's conversation, we will explore how institutions can capitalize on this opportunity by integrating online learning with traditional academic delivery and so much more. Right, on that note, it's my absolute pleasure to welcome a very esteemed panel of experts today. We have joining us Dr. Jones Mathew, Principal and Head of Institution Great Lakes Gurgaon, Professor Narendra S. Chaudhari, Vice Chancellor, Assam Science and Technology University, Dr. Sanjay Srivastava, Vice Chancellor, Manav Rachna International Institute of Research and Studies, Dr. Subir Verma, Director for School of Management, and Prashasti Rastogi, Senior Director at Coursera. To all our panelists, a very warm welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Such a pleasure to have you here today. All right, so to our panel, let's get kick-started with our conversation right away. So, to all our professors here, all the doctors, all our industry experts, we are seeing more and more campuses integrating global online learning for credit to close the curriculum gaps, to ramp up industry focused learning for the students, and much more. So, I'd love to understand from each of you how you see this as being an opportunity to scale learning at each of your institutions. Dr. Mathew, would you like to kickstart the conversation?
All right. Thank you very much. Terrific topic. And I think one of the most important things that educational administrators are looking at the moment. And in your introductory comments, you mentioned that, that the gap which continues to exist between industry and academia, despite a lot of efforts which are being made by educational administrators to shorten that gap, right? Despite all of that, there are areas, especially in fast evolving domains, in which to get good quality faculty on time, or good quality faculty who can actually deliver cutting edge stuff as it happens in the industry, is a constant challenge, right? And we try very hard to minimize that gap, but every time when we meet recruiters, they're probably a few steps ahead of us. And I think that's where the online credit course or micro credits really come into play. This is as of now, students do get advised by faculty and by other program directors, for example, on what are the courses that they can look at to stack up their knowledge, credentials or skill credentials. But to have it integrated regular curriculum is probably
Sorry,
the next step.
Dr. Mathew, I'm so sorry. I will
So
interrupt for a moment.
we do have structured curriculum and AICT stipulated number of credits and a minimum number of credits. So there's no upper limit, and I think it's a very good approach to look at what are the things that that are on offer from outside agencies, which can really add a lot of value through cutting edge content for educational institutions, especially at higher education level. The good thing is probably that postgraduate level students find it very useful to look at these options available, and they are very driven to, they're very motivated to actually, as I said, stack up on their educational skills. And I think as an opening comment, the last thing that I would like to say is that this is also part of an online, what do you call, um, always on learning attitude, right? Because even an MBA degree may be irrelevant after 3 or 4 years of graduation, except the fundamentals. All the skills may become, they may have to be changed as an individual progresses through the corporate hierarchy. So I think from the perspective of a student, it's very important for them to get a feel of this lifelong learning that they can achieve through these micro credits, which can be delivered or accessed easily through online learning. So I think all in all, as my opening comment, I would say that this is definitely a thing which educational administrators need to look at. It's not an if thing now, but probably a when thing. And I think as soon as possible may be the way forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, before we continue, there was, I think, a little bit of a network issue on your side. I don't know, could the others see that as well? Prashasti, was there a bit of a lag? Yeah. Doctor, maybe you could just have a look for the next answer. I'm not sure if there's any way you can adjust or switch to mobile tethering for your internet because it got a bit choppy. I think in post production we can manage your first answer. Just a suggestion for the rest of the session.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Great. Okay, but thank you for that. Wonderful. Professor Narendra, would you like to add your comments here as well?
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Professor Mathew has already commented about the importance of industry and academia collaboration. I would say that NEP 2020 has already created the framework for such kind of collaboration. One important thing, for example, Assam Science and Technology University has done is to evolve the posts of professors of practice, where we are now giving the positions to senior industrialists, senior people who are working in the industry who want to collaborate for short term of 4 months to 6 months. In addition, one very important thing that we have done is our faculty members have been given the sabbatical leave to go to the industry. So that impact, I'm not sure whether it will result in a big change, but the changes are already happening. In this context, I would say that globally, if I look at the kind of educational scenario, because I had some experience in institutes in Japan as well, and as well as in Germany. So Germany is one of the, in fact, countries where academia has installed the campuses, technical campuses with the technical innovations capabilities on the campuses. So I think the similar kind of situation, if it can be done in India, that would be great. I think things have started happening, but at a very low pace and in a very low way. Because whatever we have in the industry, whatever we have on the academia industry institutes is only some of the labs. It's not really the fostering the innovation and creativity. So I think things will take time, but the vision of Modi ji for 2047, we are following the path. So I think that's what I would like to comment on. And of course, giving the 40% credits for online learning is a great, in fact, change in our curriculum so that lifelong learning is encouraged. This involving this lifelong learning as a practice to the students is something which I have now seen that the students have already started practicing. I think these things will consider, these things will lead to the change in future. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. Dr. Subir, would you like to add your comments?
Yeah, well, initially, let me at the outset thank you all for bringing such a lovely panel together and bringing me amongst friends once again. So, thank you, Coursera, and thank you, Devina, that you have been able to handle all of us together. And I'm sure it's going to be a great challenge to handle so many luminaries together in such a short span of time. Uh, well, there are two aspects to it in terms of the government regulation. The 40% online teaching does not mean that all of us have to go to 40%, because there's another aspect that we all have core faculty. And as per the UGC and the AICT, the faculty is also supposed to teach. We need to have a regular faculty, and also that also gets counted in terms of our student faculty ratio, right? So we cannot go all the way to 40%. But then what at Ford School of Management, what we are trying to do is to take advantage of this change, which has brought about, I would say, three aspects: flexibility, accessibility, and lifelong learning. These three aspects have been brought about because of this MOOC courses. And apart from the fact that it has opened up uh, our what we teach in the classroom with what is available globally. So, and this has probably going to make us become much more inclusive and future ready and student centric. At Ford School of Management, we have adopted almost a multi-pronged approach in order to, I would say, take on this opportunity. I'll not use the word challenge, it's an opportunity. One is that we have we are redesigning our learning management system. Our digital infrastructure has to scale up to adapt to this kind of a blended learning. So, in terms of bandwidth and devices, so that is what we are doing. The second is we are training faculty to integrate and curate courses along with the what is available globally. So it could be like this, and I can share with you what we are doing. So far, the core courses are concerned. We have core courses, we have specialization based elective courses, and then we have other non specialization based elective courses. Now, for core courses, we are going to go totally offline. We're not going to get into MOOC for that. But for courses that is not at the emerging area of technology or in terms of business, that and where companies want our students to be future ready and industry ready, we are trying to adopt a more blended approach. That is, most of these courses a can be taken up online. We have already set apart from this year onwards. We have already set apart almost like a typical credit for us is 10 hours. So we already set apart almost like 15 hours of credits for students, of 15 credits for students who can take up courses on the MOOC platform. So that we are doing, and we are using it. And we what we are doing is that we are asking them to choose from the different platform that is available, whether it is a Coursera or it's Harvard or it's LinkedIn. So people can choose from these different platforms and pick up those five courses that they can train themselves on, and they can. So we'll be use the assessment mechanism that probably Coursera, for that matter, uses, and supplement with our quizzes and other assessment tools. So that is also what we are redesigning. Uh, One great advantage that is also brought about is kind of bring about an integration across courses. Look, the management world is artificial, where we have different silos. Management teaching world, I would say, where we have silos and faculty proficient teaching from that silo's perspective. But management as a whole is a very integrated, I would say, so I call it a social science. So it's a very integrated, contextualized kind of an endeavor. Now that's where platforms like Coursera, etc., or Harvard for that matter, has become a very useful platform. The third thing that we are doing is uh, we take in students who are into different programs. Most of the students are not very comfortable in terms of certain foundations of management. We have tied up with Harvard Business School, and we have taken up the entire set of courses where our students do the foundation courses on the Harvard Business School platform. So that is also a way by which we are trying to, I would say, softly do a little bit of soft landing of students to our, I would say, more data and digital based education. So that is one thing that we are also doing. Um, so so when I use the word multi-pronged, I said infrastructure and faculty enablement. We just had a very customized program by a very learned dean from Harvard Business School with regard to how to teach with cases, how to introduce AI, how to blend your courses with what is being offered globally on different platforms. So that we are doing. We have brought about a huge change in our curriculum. We are taking in credits. We are giving credits to this to the macro credentials that the students are now acquiring. Uh, we have become much more learner centric in a way, and above all, we have changed our assessment mechanism. So these are, I would say, and finally, I think that's the most important, and that would probably be uh, Gladden Prashasthi's mindset is that we are partnering with different platforms, different edtech companies to ensure that our education becomes more student centric and more industry centered. So all these opportunities are there, and we are going whole hog taking advantage of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing all these examples. Again, we're going to deep dive a lot into these topics. Before that, Professor Sanjay, love to get you in on this. Yeah, just your opening thoughts really on scaling learning at your institution, how you're seeing campuses integrating global online learning for credit. Some thoughts here.
Thank you so much, Team ET, for getting all of us together on one platform. And it's a pleasure to meet with many panelists. And being the last person in this T20 era of IPL, let me put things differently. That, we live by and large in a choiceless world. And life and leadership is a matter of choices. This 40% has given us enough space to decide and to own what I wish to pursue in life. Manav Rachna International Institute of Research and Studies is an IRF 100 university, and we are NAC A++. And we are a large university, so we give a lot of space to our students because we are starting from engineering to dentistry. We have nutrition to physiotherapy, and so we are catering to large set of people, including management school, psychology school, and English literature. So we we give this responsibility to our students that you please design your own degree, and this 40% degree of freedom given to you, you tell us what professional certifications you want, from Coursera to Microsoft to IBM, Google, Unity, IBM, Meta, Adobe, Autodesk, including Harvard Publishing, Business Publishing. So we offer this choice to all our students, and it is their choice what they wish to pursue. And wherever they expect our professors handholding, it is given to them. And we have we also like, I must say that many of our students, they have successfully converted their micro credential experience into internships and full-time roles. But because once you take the ownership, you do things differently. And they are also showcasing tangible career impact to this blended learning approach about which Subir Bhai talked about it. And students apply these credentials in cross-disciplinary projects also. In a big way, in university, we are promoting inter and multidisciplinary approach. And that is the advantage of being a large university. So you decide what you wish to pursue. And at the end of it, it is your program. You take the responsibility and tell us what you expect from me. So I take a pause here and look forward to your next question, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor. Yeah, truly not easy to follow up after everyone's comments. Thank you for your insight. Prashasti, before we move on to the rest of the session, love to just hear some opening thoughts from you as well. Of course, coming from your vantage points of working with so many industries, so many educational institutions, how do you really perceive the shift that's happening now for scaling learning? How institutions can look at scaling across the board, really?
Yeah. Thank you. I was intently listening to the remarks by all the professors. And, one line of thread that is very common to all the professors is about making sure that the students are able to gain the right skills, they have the right knowledge, and at the end of the day, the curriculums are designed to deliver the best output for the students. And there are various ways to it that what I'm hearing across the board. The key thread, the key underlying thread is that NEP 2020 tore away that distinction between a curriculum and employability skills. They are kind of married together, and there is no possibility of choosing either or. The problem statement, however, lies in how to do it at best quality and at scale. And we have seen a common trend of hybrid classrooms and partnership and collaboration with industry, with technology partners to enable that to happen. And the provision of 40% credits coming from an online learning platform actually is a medium to deliver those skills. So, looking forward to more intent discussion on this topic today.
Thank you for that, Prashasti. Absolutely looking forward to hearing all that Coursera is doing here. Before that, Dr. Mathew, let's come back to you. So, as we are discussing in great detail now, changes to government regulations are truly paving the way for integration of all skills, with 40% of credits in any category through online courses, as we all know. So, a little more thoughts from you here. How, once again, you see this as an opportunity at your institution? How do you see the scaling of the learning process unfolding as a result of these regulations?
Okay, I hope I'm more clearly
Yes,
audible this time.
thank you.
All right, coming to the 40% credits being available through online learning through these micro credits, I'd like to echo what Dr. Subir mentioned. As educational institution administrators, we also have the student faculty ratio to be looked at, which requires us to have a certain number of faculty on board, which also requires that there has to be enough teaching load for everybody. So when we look at 40, instead of swinging the pendulum to the extreme, left side where we say that all 40% is going to happen, and what Dr. Subir mentioned really resonates with me as well. We'll have to do it in a calibrated manner. But of course, the intent of the NEP is to be student-centric, not so much institution-centric, right? What is more beneficial for students of the next generation of Indians to be ready for a very demanding world of skills, which may not be delivered through regular teaching, is what we have to look at. All of us as heads of institutions and heads of programs are very conscious of the fact that skills have to be developed. In fact, at Great Lakes, it's been part of our curriculum that every course has to have a certain number of hours dedicated to skill building, even if it's, let's say, microeconomics or marketing management or financial management. You have to have sessions which are focused on developing the skills of the students. Now, those skills are possible to be developed in a classroom setting, usually better because there's one-on-one interaction with the faculty and there's a lot of options for tutorials after class and so on and so forth. So that the actual skill building happens, right? It's not just on paper. It really does happen. So that's one way that we are looking at it, and I'm sure other schools have also migrated from less of skills to more of skills in the overall delivery. The NEP has been a good trigger in this direction, because till a few years ago we were not really thinking about skills building except for the pressure from the recruiters. And unlike Dr. Sanjay's university, where there are multiple faculties, areas of study, for us at Great Lakes, it's purely management, and that too at the postgraduate level. And our students are directly going into the corporate world. And one of the constant refrains from industry has been that let's get all the students that we are looking at to be good at not just knowledge but also skills, and of course developing attitude, a positive attitude towards teamwork and so on and so forth. So coming from that feedback, the opportunity or the need for scaling up, as Devina you asked, is it possible to use online microcredits for scaling up? Can it be a trigger? Can it be a platform? I would say a resounding yes. And like I mentioned in my opening comment, it's not a question of if we should do it, but when should we do it, and how soon can we roll it out to the entire set of programs that we run. The other thing is about flexibility, which was mentioned, flexibility and accessibility. A lot of the learning now is happening outside of the classroom. And the students of this generation, especially post-COVID, they have, well-known problems like attention deficiency, and they want shorter classroom, they want more engagement, etc. So they're looking at opportunities for accessing information or skills related courses which can look good on their resumes, which become talking points for them during interviews, right? Rather than what was your specialization and what you knew about certain core subjects. And there have been cases where I think Deloitte recently I think there was a news article where they said that they're really not going to be concerned about degrees anymore, right? They're just looking at the skills that students have, irrespective of which school you're coming from. So that's going to be the great leveler. That's going to be the great equalizer. And I think this focus on microcredits may be able to solve this problem to a great extent. Lastly, last point is that I think most of the schools, and including ours, we have a lot of microcredits, credit courses which are compulsory for students before they even join the course, join the program. This is just to sort of bridge the gap between their undergraduate courses and what we do at postgraduate level. So all of us have taken recourse to microcredit programs, certifications, etc., that students have to do even before joining the program, and they have to submit those certificates before they can actually be considered as full-time students. So we're trying to do that from day one, and going forward, this is going to be infused into our regular programs, that a certain number of hours should be dedicated to certain certification programs. And I think faculty in the different areas have already identified a set of microcredits that they can pick up. Instead of students going randomly left, right, and center, they could be guided towards what are the microcredits which are going to be truly useful for them from the industry perspective. So scaling up, definitely possible. The only concern is, along with scaling up, a little bit of depth should be ensured, and that skills are actually developed in the students. Otherwise, we'll come back to square one again. When the recruiters meet them, the students have the certifications, but they're really not able to put it into practice. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you, Devina.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for that very holistic perspective there. Professor Narendra, would you like to add to this?
Yeah. Professor Mathew has, in fact, elaborated a lot about the efforts that we are already doing. And ours is a government university, state government university. State government is also, in fact, emphasizing on these issues. And in fact, there is a council which has been, in fact, created at the state level to, in fact, have this global online content as well as to integrate the skills. In fact, he has already talked about the micro credits. I would say that these are what we call it as a prerequisite courses, and particularly the smaller modules which the students need to take to in fact register for the regular program in case they do not have the proper uh, in fact, arrangement and proper background for taking those courses. So all these things, fortunately, have been. In fact, we are now doing it, okay, as a part of NEP 2020. As far as the skill development is concerned, the every semester now we have partnered with many industries to, in fact, introduce the skill level programs. Of course, Professor Sudhir Verma has already stated about the concern about the ratio of the student to faculty. Well, unfortunately, I would say that as far as the state government universities and so our mechanism is concerned, we are in fact lacking a lot as far as the faculty positions are concerned. So, in fact, we consider this as a great opportunity to, in fact, augment our faculty position. And I had a talk to AICT chairman. He said that the professors of practice, which have been employed for 11 months, are also considered on the regular as a faculty on the regular basis as far as the percentage meeting the percentage is concerned. So I think these are certain things, okay, which I consider it as a great opportunity which are happening, and I would say that because of the aspect of the kind of variety of courses which our students are now able to get, very important things about the technologies which we cannot in fact use, or we cannot impart the education on, like for example security education. In the security, computer security is changing a lot, and just 2 days before, okay, we have seen what important, how that field is very important. Another one is a chip design, micro electronics and VLSI chip design. A lot of things. In fact, we are now collaborating with IBM, TCS, Infosys. Professor Mathew has already talked about the Deloitte, and Deloitte is also one of the companies. Okay, where in fact quite a few of our students are also employed, and because they are already employed there, okay, they are our messengers. Not only messengers, okay, they in fact guide us about what kind of technologies, okay, we should in fact include in our curriculum. So I would say that the things are happening. Industry focused learning is happening. To what extent industry level learning is important for keeping the quality of academic education is something, okay, which is still being deliberated upon at our state council level. So I would say that, okay, as an academician, yes, okay, we are in fact very much for this, but not at the cost of the academic quality going down. So that's what I would like to comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor. Truly valuable insights. Prashasti, I think this is a great time to come to you, referencing as well your opening comments. Can you give us now, at this point, a little bit of insight on how exactly do Coursera's offerings of standalone online electives or specializations in emerging technologies or multidisciplinary skills alongside the core subjects that are taught by the in-house faculty, how do they contribute overall to the students, to business impact and overall value in the entire system?
Thank you for the question, Devina. I'll pick up from where the professor left it. I mean, we are all trying to close the skill gaps to get better hiring for our students and make sure that we create individuals who are just future ready. We want our students to be future defining. Ultimately, that is the objective. And if we look at what has happened over the last few years to make this as a reality, is that micro credentials have gone into the academic system, where micro credentials are being highly accepted both by the students as well as the employers as a singular definition and demonstration that the skills have been gained and the skills have been applied, right? The question of skills versus curriculum does not exist. The question is, how do we integrate skills into the curriculum? And core skills as well as advanced skills, both skills are part of the learning process that has to be delivered in the institution. And all this is directed towards solving talent shortages. At Coursera, what we've seen universities do best is they have embraced industry micro credentials, which allow students to prepare for a certain job role with the necessary skills plus the fundamental learning and the projects that deliver that demonstration of that fundamental learning and applied understanding as a signal towards employability. But at the same time, because they are all approved by the National Skill Qualification Framework, they have also added it as a a scoring or a credit stack into the curriculums. And we've noticed that that has made a significant change in the way employers are viewing these students, but at the same time, how students are also shaping up the demand. We recently published a micro credentials impact report, and some of the data that has come out is really endorsing what is happening. So 98% employers responded saying that micro credentials, which demonstrate employability skills, are enhancing a candidate's application. 93% of them agreed that graduates with micro credentials are more job ready over the others. And 93% of the employers in India have shown high intent to hire candidates who have earned a credit bearing micro credential under the NSQF paradigm, right? At the same time, if you talk to the students, they're actually now basing their decision on choosing a degree on the way micro credentials are integrated and how they are being delivered industry aligned learning. So their likelihood of enrolling in a degree jumps from 38% to 91% when they realize that there are stackable credentials that they can earn for credit as part of their curriculum. And 86% of the students surveyed also confirmed that they strongly believe that micro credentials are helping them succeed in a job. So, when the examples were taken from certain industries, for example, Deloitte, this is all basically coming out of the fact that skills over scores is the new hiring paradigm. Now, this gap has always been under discussion, but we need to close this gap faster than before. We are living in a VUCA world which is already disrupted by generative AI. And at the same time, we have to make it scalable with quality. How do we do that? And that's what you talked about when we say that you can integrate electives from a variety of industries with a variety of skills into your curriculum in a stackable fashion so that your degrees can continue to be agile. We are talking about integrating a course from Google on digital marketing, which also involves AI based marketing into the curriculum today. But 6 months later, that domain may have certain refinements. How do we make sure that our curriculums are always future ready and our faculty is geared to tackle those topics within the university paradigm? So, this becomes an interesting collaboration where we take knowledge from industry via a platform like Coursera, integrate it into the curriculum, students earn credits, faculties are able to deliver better and also upskill themselves. And at the same time, the curriculums continue to stay agile and respond to the needs of the industry. Um, the National Skill Qualification Framework allows you to drive credits in that direction. And we have seen many universities like KL University, Chitkara University, Chandigarh University, SRM University do that quite successfully. In fact, Dr. Subir, he's here. Dr. Subir is also doing some exemplary work in including industry micro credentials into the curriculum at Ford School of Management, because the problem statement that they are trying to solve is how to make sure that students in the classroom are boardroom ready. Back to you, Devina.
I'm already sold.
Wonderful, Prashasti. Thank you so much for that. Again, a few follow-up questions for you. But before that, I'll just quickly come back to you, Dr. Subir, to take this chain of thought forward. What benefits would you say that students have seen directly as a result of these industry micro credentials to meet ultimately the urgency from employers, right? Because all employers are looking for career ready graduates. So, what are some of the tangible direct benefits that we are seeing reflected through the students?
I think there are three aspects, I would say, at three levels. One is gone are the days. I mean, look, most of the students today, they are the view and the touch kind, not the ear kind. Or the learning style has changed, right? And when we have a platform like this where they're already hooked on, you just have to shift from, let's say, an Insta or a Snapchat and get into a postcard, right? Or get into a Coursera platform. You just have to shift. So they're already there, and therefore grabbing their attention there, even if it is for a short while, at a short duration, that is still much better than listening to a faculty talking about something and talking about a knowledge that probably they find to be slightly irrelevant, slightly not in tune with the changed times, and slightly not something that they can employ for certain reasons. Uh, because we are still at the level. Most of the courses are still at the level of understanding and not at the level of, I would say, applying and creating. If one talks in terms of Bloom's revised taxonomy of learning. Now, because of this platform that has come about, uh, learning now has become more outcome oriented, right? More accessible, more outcome oriented. Students are finding, especially with the stackable certification that is there on micro credentials, we are now being able to do things exactly what Prashasti talked about, analyzing the skill report of Coursera with the World Economic Survey report and running it backward in terms of what roles recruiters are looking for when they come to the campus, what kind of skills need to be there in those roles, what kind of competency that we need to build, and then finally, what kind of courses will build those competencies. So we are running the entire rigmarole right now, which is ending up with student learning and student employment. And that integration has now taken place thanks to the platform that is there on offer. Uh, Apart from that, I think with this, there's an element of lifelong learning. People will keep on acquiring credentials, and therefore, in terms of job security from the student point of view, that definitely will go up and up and up. So, especially in a good organization. So, I think the students are there to benefit. They feel better. They feel more. The education seems to be more holistic right now, more complete, more integrated, more industry friendly, and more lifelong. I would guess a better security for the job.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Professor Sanjay. I'll get you in on this as well. One add on question, because we are getting some live questions from the audience as well. So, in addition to that, I'll pose one small question to you directly from the audience. What accreditation should students look for to ensure course credibility? This is for Professor Sanjay, and after him, if anybody else would like to add to that as well.
See, it is purely like, as I said, that depends in which program you have enrolled in.
Yeah.
If you have enrolled in for engineering program, they look for what kind of accreditation. If you are enrolled in a management school, you look for different accreditation. If you are enrolled in dental school, different accreditation. So in our case, things are very, very different. But if there is any specific issue, I shall be happy to answer, because what Professor Chaudhary has said, let me complete that school of thought also, because like at his university, they are facing faculty crunch. At our university, we are competing with some of the best universities of the country and the world, and we are facing crunch on technology. So our requirement is extremely different, and Prashasti has very well articulated all her thoughts so well, and it is so useful for many of our own colleagues who are watching this. So we try to match this by uh, by encouraging co-creation of learning pathways. We also have complete project-based learning in all our school, irrespective of wherever you are. And we also ensure that everything we try to deliver through AR VR experience, so that we can compete with some of the relevant institutions and some of the best accredited institutions of the world. And we have Eon Reality with us, and we get a lot of industry sponsored live cases through which we get this validation. Because, as Prashasti has rightly says in different terminology, I would say that industry never looked for the best fit, they always looked for the right fit. So the question before us, are we producing the right fit? If answer is yes, you will be very relevant. And accreditation has role, but again industry goes with the skill rather than what accreditations you have. I hope I have partially answered or no.
Yes, thank you.
Devina?
Thank you, Professor. I'm mindful of the clock. We have a few minutes left here. Prashasti, I'd love to quickly come to you to help us kind of pull the whole conversation together. Also, one more question from the audience. So, to begin with, if you had to kind of summarize and provide some guidance here today for universities who are considering implementing online learning for credit, standalone or blended, um, just a little bit of a direction here, and how are they able to measure it? What are some of the metrics they should look at? I will add one more tag along question here from our audience, which is, what role does data and learner analytics play in improving the academic performance online?
Great question. I think online learning has also come a long way from how we understand, right? If I were to use Coursera as an example, because I understand the platform through and through, generative AI has changed how academic delivery can happen over a platform. We have built three different teacher facilities and one student facility to be able to ensure that there's integrity while the students are learning, to ensure that the learning outcomes and data that is coming out of the platform has integrity, and you can actually analyze to the power of one what progress student is making and which are the students who require that kind of a mentorship with, or some sort of hand holding or a little bit of a nudge. We also have a facility called Course Builder on our platform, which allows teachers to practically curate their own courses using the entire platform basis the learning outcomes they want to deliver in the classroom. Similarly, they can create custom assessments, deliver them on demand, analyze them on demand. Students can also be pushed and encouraged to maintain the learning effort or learning hours while they are learning online, so that they are not distracted or jumping within course assignments or course learning modules. So there are various ways to do that. But I think the important approach in the learning world, and that's what is the main ethos of a university, is how do we make sure that students learn at their own pace and every student has an outcome that is measurable, right? So far, our approach was to measure it in terms of their CGPA, but that's not what the global verdict is. The global verdict is, are the students day one billable? And that's what the industry hires for. And are we creating lifelong learners? Because the world is so dynamic that learning is a habit which needs to continue beyond the university degrees. So, academic degrees are no longer royalties for life. They can get you one job, but they can't grow your career or make you succeed in life if you stop learning from where your institution handed you to the real world, right? So in those scenarios, I think use of technology is an augmentation of teaching power, but at the same time it's a huge facility for students to be coached 24 cross 7. Right now, a lot of university partners on Coursera are actually using role plays on Coursera to do business context simulations for students. which are actually running completely on our platform, completely asynchronously, but are completely mentor guided. And this allows the student to tackle a problem in the way that a classroom simulation would happen. So I think the opportunities are infinite. India has set itself the goal to go digital, and education is where it starts. So I think digital transformation happens here first to make sure that it happens effectively for the macroeconomic environment as well.
Wonderful. Thank you. What a truly inspiring note to end on. Unfortunately, we are off the clock now. We've just completed the duration. But thank you so much to all our leaders today. Thank you, Prashasti, for sharing so much insight. Some of the statistics we're getting here are truly mind opening. I'm sure lots of takeaways for all our viewers on this live session. So, this has been episode 2 of ET Education's LinkedIn Live series on leading the change, an exclusive dialogue with education leaders on shaping tomorrow's campus, presented in collaboration with Coursera. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you so
right.
much.
Thank you
Thank you very
to
much.
all our
Thank you.
leaders.
Yes.
I
Thank
will
you.
hand over the session to Prashasti now. I will log off, requesting the leaders to stay on.